Inter Milan, this is Wednesday. They are -134 hosting Porto out of Portugal, +400. The draw is +260. Anthony, I'm just going to turn it to you. These two teams, the odds tell us that Inter should. They're one of the bigger uh, favorites to advance. They're -225. Porto +162. You think the ceiling on Inter is like pretty high in this tournament? We talked about it a little bit. They're hanging around in that mid tier, like 33-1. We're all kind of expecting the next round to look pretty like just beatable for basically anybody. Why are they a team that you believe can do it?
That's the thing. Like, I don't know how high the ceiling is. I think their floor is super high. I think they're a good team that they've done it in Europe, and they've shown they can compete with teams like Liverpool, and got through a good good showing in the Champions League group in a tough group. But like, how high is the ceiling? Can they beat a Bayern or a City over two legs? I don't know. I'm like kind of iffy on that, but I don't think there's anybody else that they couldn't like. We've seen them beat Napoli, and really shut down Napoli in a year where all of the teams at the top except City have defenses that make you kind of cringe. Inter might be like the second best defense in the whole tournament left. Like, you can, like, who else is better defensively?
Benfica.
Yeah, so you love Benfica. Other than them, like,
I'm just kidding.
They're
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
There's not really a lot of great defenses, so you run some good set piece variants, you defend really well, and you have a high floor, and you get a bounce or two in a wide open field. Like, Inter, for me, is the team that like has the floor. Whereas like, Napoli, the price isn't there anymore. You go down the list, like PSG, I think is super flawed. Real Madrid, Liverpool don't defend. And Real didn't defend last year. They won the Champions League. So like, you can ride a hot goalie or something, but like, they're an interesting case. And I don't think it's a bad draw. I think -134, -130 for a first leg money line is too steep. I would need like -110 to bet them. And I don't think there's like a huge like tactical thing where they're much better than Porto. I just think they're like generally just like a better team than Porto. Porto is going to sit deep. They're going to force Inter to try to break them down. Like, this does profile as like a lower scoring affair. But I think Inter will get through ultimately, and then hopefully they get a good draw. I mean, they could draw like Milan, Spurs in the quarterfinals, and I feel pretty good about that.
What are your thoughts here, BJ, on
Yeah, so
Inter
there's some
Porto?
Yeah, so there's some injury concerns for Porto that have to be mentioned. Otavio is going to be out for this leg. He will be back for the second leg. He's their leader in expected assists this season, so that's a big blow. Ivan Nielsen, who's Taremi's striking partner up top in the 4-4-2, is leading the team in XG per 90. He's likely going to be out for this match. Mateus Uribe, who's their main defensive midfielder, who's played the most 90s of any outfield player for them this season, is also questionable for this leg. So there's a lot going against Porto. And like you mentioned, Anthony, they're going to sit defensive in their 4-4-2, like we've seen them do time and time again in the Champions League, just trying to get the draw and get this thing back to Portugal when they can get all of those players back from injury. And Inter, they've been in great form out of the World Cup break. They've lost one match. It was a fluke loss to Empoli at home. Like Anthony mentioned, they've beaten Napoli. They've beaten AC Milan twice. They've beaten Atalanta twice. And most importantly, last 6 matches, we've only conceded 3.7 expected goals. So it's a really good defense. Team who's in incredible form, playing its team who's going to set up very defensive without 2 of their main attackers. So I only have 2.28 goals projected for this one. Under 2.5 goals is getting pretty juicy at -125. So if that gets to -115, I'll play it. But I'll probably be looking to play Porto in the second leg if Inter wins this one and Porto gets all those guys healthy, because you might just get a nice inflated line with Inter. So under 2.5 or anything, or if anything, for me.